Hi friends, today we'll teach you something that even native speakers often get confused by, and that is the difference between
the, and the.
Yes, these three does. You can probably hear why they are often mistaken by beginner learners
And even us sometimes. First up is the most common of all Chinese characters, the.
This the is a noun modifier. I'm just going to quickly stop there and say that don't worry, I'm going to use the technical terms first, but you'll see example sentences later in all three of these does to help you understand its learning. Okay, so this is a noun modifier which goes in front, okay, in front of nouns, and it's used to describe things. So maybe give us an example.
A basic pattern is adjective, the, and noun.
All right.
所以漂亮的花
A beautiful flower.
红色的车
A red car. This the also marks possession of a thing or a person. So you can kind of think of it as an apostrophe S in English, but it's actually used way more frequently in Chinese to link nouns.
我的书
My book.
他的猫
His cat, right? Possession.
The second der.
The second der.
The second is more tricky for English speakers since there isn't an easy equivalent.
However, the general rule is that it comes after a verb to describe the result, degree, or possibility.
你说的很好
You speak very well. So 说 is the verb. We place the afterwards. So 说的很好 is the degree of how well you're doing that, right? So 你说的很好 You speak very well.
他写的很漂亮
She writes beautifully. 写 is the verb, right? We place the afterwards, and 漂亮 describes how nicely the writing is done.
我吃的很慢
Right, guys, can you follow that pattern? Where is the verb? 吃. Then you add the, and then 很慢, right?
很慢
Describes how quickly or how slowly or how the thing was done, right? In this case, very slowly. I eat very slowly. Now let's learn the final and arguably the least common one. It's also a 多音字, meaning it has more than one pronunciation, and in this case, a different meaning. The other pronunciation is 地, fourth tone, meaning land.
对
Now, in this case, the is used before verbs, right? Just now, the one we just learned was afterwards, right? To describe the degree. Here, this the is used before verbs to describe how something is done. So similar kind of to an ly in English. So something's done slowly or simply, right? And so to put it simply, it turns adjectives into adverbs. Okay, that's a lot of grammar terms. Let's go straight to the sentences to see how this works.
好高兴的唱歌
Sings happily. 高兴 here is the adjective. 唱歌 here is the verb.
对
So the goes before the verb to describe how it was done. 高兴的唱歌
认真的学习
Studies diligently. 认真, right? Here is the adjective. 学习 is the verb. So 的 goes in front of the verb to describe how the studying was done. So in this case, very diligently. 认真的学习
好 Okay, I will quiz Fiona now.
All right.
好我买的书
Okay, which the is this? The book that I bought. So here it goes in front of a noun. So, and also just from the context, we can guess that it's marking possession, right? The book that I bought.
他唱得很好
Right. This goes after a verb, so it must be this 的, it describes the result or the manner of an action. So she or he sings very well.
他开心的跳舞。
Right. So here, 开心 is the adjective. 跳舞 is the verb. The goes in front of the verb. 跳舞, right? So happily dancing. So it must be this 的。
没错，全对，非常感动。Finally, here is an example with all three does to really drive the difference home.
Take a screenshot now and see if you can understand why each one is where it is. We'll add annotations in 5 seconds with the answers.
他认真地完成了老师布置的作业，而且做得很好。
He carefully completed the homework assigned by the teacher and he did it very well. We do want to say at the end of this video, if you are texting with native speakers in particular, because obviously when you're speaking, you don't see the difference and these does are used very naturally. But when you are particularly texting or maybe reading online articles, it's very natural to see actually only the first and most common duh, because sometimes there's a little bit of a lack of discipline in choosing the right duh. So when someone's very quickly texting, so you might be reading a text from a native speaker saying, surely this is the second duh or the third duh that indicates this, that, and the other. But as typing has become the general practice rather than writing, I think the selection of the duh, the discipline has much reduced. So don't sometimes feel that maybe you're in the wrong because it's probably their typo, but it's very important for you to know the difference as a beginner learner.
As usual, with lots of reading practice, you will naturally digest these rules without having to actively think of them.
It's good to know the differences as a learner, but it's much better to implicitly know which one to use without having much thought. I mean, that's how native speakers use it, and I think the key word here really is reading practice. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Remember to check out the learning notes on the Skritter app if you ever get stuck with a particular character. We'll see you next time. 再见.
Bye.